Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to NAB 2018. We are here today on the LiveU booth. My name is Chris Perry, and I'm a product manager here at LiveU. Really very happy to be with you. We've got a great show lined up for you. We're doing this every day between 5 and 6 Pacific time. We're going to be live here on Facebook. And this afternoon, we're going to be talking a lot about streaming and some of the really cool stuff that our customers are doing with live streaming. So to begin, I'd like to introduce everyone to the number one Alex.
Hi.
Hey, Alex.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Thanks for being on. So Alex is a Twitch streamer, and today,
Yes.
Alex, you did something we call IRL.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us about IRL and how it works?
Basically, what I like to call it is that, you just go out as long as you're getting off the computer and going outside in the real life.
There's a world out
in real
there.
life. There's a world out there. There's actually a world out there that, outside of our computers, where we can actually, go out, interact, have adventures, go on, Ferris wheels, go on a roller coaster, anything what you really want to do and show off out in the real world that what you do, but to an audience.
And so Twitch is traditionally thought of as a gaming platform.
Yeah. Well, actually, back in the Justin TV days, they were about everything pretty much. It was more like this. They transitioned into gaming and then brought it back a little bit more of IRL stuff.
So your day job is you're a gamer.
Yes.
And
pretty much.
And you also do IRL or in real life on the side.
Yes. They call me a variety streamer, pretty much, where I just do everything, whether it's just gaming and then going outside doing I had a lot of adventures in Japan recently.
Adventures in Japan.
Yeah.
So tell me about so what is it like to be in a country like Japan?
Oh, and
streaming your experience there.
It's amazing because I love the country so much that to be able to show that off to my community is so fun, and to see their reactions and also just be able to communicate with them and also people out in Japan as well. I would randomly find people that would just look at me and hey, what are you doing? Because, it's just like this guy randomly that's sitting at a bar talking to himself. And then, if you don't know what streaming is, you're just going to be like, what is this guy doing?
So streaming in the wild like that has to be super challenging.
You get used to it, though, eventually.
Because you have to carry everything with you. You actually brought, you did some IRL today. Yeah. We're going to play a clip of that in a second. But you actually brought your backpack with you, right?
This thing right here. I don't know which camera it's on, but I'm going to hold it up.
It's okay. So this backpack is something that you would... oh my goodness, it's really heavy too.
The older models used to be even heavier, but now this is much lighter than before.
And how long would you stream with something like this?
Oh, it can probably last about, I'd say, 10, 12 hours.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So there's external batteries in here, and there's a little mount here for a camera.
Yeah.
So that you can get the first-person perspective.
People love that action cam view, especially when I'm in really busy cities, like Vegas, for example.
Lots to see.
Yeah.
So of course, one of the centerpieces of this particular backpack is the LiveU solo platform. And I've got a little solo here outside of the backpack. And this is what allows you to do the reliable streaming from wherever you are. And it's got, a couple of USB ports for modems. How many modems do you use with the solo when you're streaming?
So it's technically 4. I'm using 4 devices. Okay. One of them is connected by Ethernet. One of them is Wi-Fi, and then 2 of them are tethered through USB. And so it's a lot going on in there, actually.
It looks very nice.
Yeah.
And who designed this backpack?
Gunrun is like a godsend to Twitch IRL streamers. He's like our dad.
I'm sure he's watching this right now and appreciates being called the dad of IRL.
He takes care of us when it comes to this stuff. And then also I'd have to say that when I'm in a pinch, I'm like, Gunrun, can you help me? And he's usually there to help. And I really, really appreciate it.
That's really cool. So I've watched some of these IRL streams, and let's go to a clip here. We've got a clip from earlier today that we're playing.
Today.
So what are you seeing here?
So I was walking by the Venetian, and I was thinking, yo, I need to get on that real quick if we have time, even if it's 10 minutes. And oh my God, her voice was amazing. I was flipping out as to how good her voice was when she started singing.
And she's just singing to you.
Yeah, she was just singing to me while she was give me a ride on the gondola. It was great. Yeah, I had never actually been on one of those before, and I was like, this is the perfect opportunity.
That's amazing.
To do it on stream.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've literally never done anything in Vegas. I come to the show, I do the trade show, I go to my hotel, I go to bed. So, it's cool that you can actually experience this as a, like a third-party streamer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the chat was loving it. They were saying encore, encore. They were even like, donating towards me, like to give it to her.
So tell me about this chat function and what it's like to interact with the audience in real time.
Twitch chat is the most entertaining thing, like in the world for me right now. I'm not even joking. I'm not like trying to joke. Like I'm serious because of just how much, like you can see so much, emotion from people when it comes to like their emote usage. All the memes that they say.
So what are like? Give me an example of the emoji, or you said emote usage.
Yeah, like for example, if something crazy happens like that, people use the global emote PogChamp, but I have a variant of that. Like it's like my face, like like I'm just like oh.
So you are also an emoji.
Yeah, I have plenty of emojis of my face as well. I have very embarrassing ones, but they're really good. People love them. And they use that to convey their emotions, and people love emotes on Twitch. Twitch is all about the emotes.
So how did you get into IRL, and what has it done to your life? I mean, this is, Twitch is your job.
Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, see, I don't like to think of it as a job because I love it so much, and the fact that I do it, like, just 12 hours a day, at least, I just enjoy doing it, but how I got into it is I was doing software development, and basically my friend was like, I want to like work on some other projects. I was working with my friend, and then I decided, you know what? Why don't I just kill some time for now? Just play some video games on the internet, just see how it goes. And I had no intent whatsoever of just making this a career. I just wanted to do it because I love video games, and I wanted to get into Twitch.
What are you playing right now?
I'm playing the Yakuza series. You can live the life as a real Yakuza person in these games.
I'm going to have to go home and Google this. There is absolutely no way.
They're really good. And then eventually, IRL started to come out after a couple years that I've been streaming on Twitch. And then people started to go to like different countries and everything. And then eventually I saw people going to Japan. It was very popular. And I was someone that actually have been going to Japan for the past 12 years. I've been there like at least 18 times.
That's amazing.
I'm fluent in Japanese, and I thought, I want to show this to my community. I want to do this really badly. So I decided to go out there a bunch of times, and it turned out really well. Like I really jumped up in like viewership as well. Like I built my community around that as well.
So on some of your streams, how many viewers or followers would you have on something like that?
Right now I'm currently over 70,000 followers. And when I'm in Japan specifically, it's higher because that's like the community that I built. Like I have like so many different communities because of variety that I've gone in so many places. So that variety, that IRL like chunk of my community that loves Japan. Usually, like it could range from like 500 to like maybe like 2,000. Like it just
That's
ranges.
Amazing.
Yeah, it just ranges.
That's amazing. Depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, depending on what I'm doing, and also just like the day, like the time of the night, or
2 o'clock in the morning, wandering the streets.
Sure. Sometimes I'll just like throw it on. I would throw it on randomly. Like I finish the stream, and then 2 hours later, I want some sushi. I'm gonna go get some sushi.
And do you stream that?
And then I would stream me going to a 24-hour sushi place in Japan, and then people just show up and are just, and even like they'll give me money, like, here Alex, let me pay for this, and I'm like, what?
That's amazing.
The hell?
So one of the technologies I understand you're using is something called Streamlabs.
Yeah, Streamlabs.
So how does Streamlabs work with what you do? Like, what does it provide for you?
So the Streamlabs app specifically is on the phone, and they integrate a lot of alerts. Like, for example, if someone subscribes to me, if someone tips me, or anything that involves that, or following, hosting, it'll notify people on the stream. It'll show up on the stream, and I'll hear it as well. I even have custom.
So you have like alerts coming to you while you're streaming about what's going on.
Yeah.
At the same time as chat.
Yeah.
How do you walk across the street without getting hit by cars?
You get used to it, but at the same time,
that's a lot of information.
It's weird. You get used to it, but at the same time, I do kind of try to pay attention to what's going on in front of me. I will take priority of what's in front of me than my chat. I'm sorry if you're watching, guys. Don't hate me. But I need to, be safe and not kill myself. But, you just get used to it. You can kind of just multitask. Sometimes people that I randomly meet that come on the stream, they ask me, like, how do you deal with this? How do you keep up with it? Because, the chat's just going like this. And then, to me, that's just like, I'm just reading everything. I'm seeing, like,
just rapid fire.
Yeah, I'm just used to reading everything. Whereas, like, someone that's just coming on the stream that has no idea what's going on, they're just like, what's going on? There's just so many people talking. I don't know what to do,
So what's the most challenging thing you find about IRL as compared to your normal, gamer type streams?
The most challenging thing is, me personally, the most challenging thing has been just trying to find places that are just okay with me recording, because you see a guy.
Do you run into that a lot?
Anywhere I go, like I do run into that a lot, especially in Japan, because they have this kind of like culture about just keeping things private. You don't want get people's faces on the camera and stuff. That's why I would always go into places, even like in America as well. I would always ask, like, is it okay if I stream in here? I'm doing this right now. I always want to make sure.
What do they say when you tell them that? Are they confused by it, or is it a? Usually,
if they're confused and my explanations don't work well, I just try to make it simple and just say, hey, I'm just doing an online video. Is it okay if I do it?
What's the longest IRL stream that you've run?
I think 14 to 15 hours, maybe.
Well,
yeah,
that's exhausting.
It was bad. Sometimes I just don't know when to stop. Because, I don't know, I'm just having fun, so I don't want to stop. And also at the same time, they're having fun.
Right.
So I don't want to ruin their fun at the same time, because their fun is also my fun as well.
Sure, of course.
It keeps bouncing back and forth.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. So what would you say to somebody who wants to get into IRL? Like, do you need to have a hook? What need to be interested in something, or what makes a good IRLer good? A good
IRL streamer, I'd basically say is just be yourself, obviously, and just go out and show what you would do. Start out with like showing what you would do in your normal daily life, going outside of your house or anything. That would be a good start. And then once you kind of get in the groove, then you can start expanding. Like, you can, if you're crazy enough to go skydiving. I mean, I've seen someone do, I think it was paragliding.
An IRL
yeah,
at the same time.
Yeah, they were doing paragliding, which is nuts.
Yes, that is crazy.
And
that they were recommended. We are not endorsing IRL hang gliding.
They were using the Gun Run backpack, of course, for that.
Of course.
With the LiveU equipment. And it was beautiful seeing that type of stuff. But yeah, just make sure you're wary of people around you as well, because sometimes being rowdy can be bad.
Yeah, sure.
But
sure.
Just be yourself.
Do you have a favorite IRL moment? Like, if you look back at all of the IRL you've done, is there a moment that stands out to you as like this is what IRL is all about? This is why I love doing this.
You know what? I can't say there's one time, because there's been too many times of this where I thought to myself, if I wasn't IRL streaming, I wouldn't meet these amazing people. I have met so many amazing people.
Do you hang out with the IRLers?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Are there other, like, is there consortiums of IRLers?
Oh yeah, I would hang out with some people. There's more of an IRL community that's more friendly in Japan, surprisingly.
Sure. Okay.
I'm sorry that I keep going back to Japan, but
great.
It's becoming bigger over there, like, the IRL community.
I've watched some IRL from Japan myself.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it
was
fascinating. Like, there was one night, it was Halloween, and they were wandering the streets, with all the crazy costumes.
It must have been Jake and Bake, maybe.
Yes.
I've hung out with him a couple times. Yeah, he's great.
So you do actually get to see these guys in real life.
Yeah.
That you follow online.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So you have a plane to catch.
I have a plane to catch.
And we have some other guests. I have no idea where they are. They're probably off. They actually spent their day IRLing on Twitch.
Oh, they're right there, actually.
They are right there.
They're right there.
So we're going to snag our other guests here. Alex, it's been super cool.
Yes, and it was a pleasure meeting you as well.
My handle on Twitch is some guy at LiveU.
Okay.
Because I am some guy at LiveU.
Please come by.
I'll have to follow you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, this has been fabulous. So we've got, we'll be sure to post links to what you did today.
Okay.
We have got a beautiful monitor wall here in the booth. We actually had you up on a 4-meter wide monitor wall at one point.
Really?
Which was really unbelievable. And everyone in the booth's like, what's this? And we started explaining to them. So it was an education for everybody here at the LiveU booth at NAB 2018 today. So thank you. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
We're going to bring in our next guests who did some Twitch today.
Oh, I will have to check it out for a little bit before I go. But thank you again for having
me.
me.
So our next guests this afternoon are the Livestream pros. And we're going to shake some hands on the way through. Very excited to be joined today by David and Luria.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're great.
Fantastic.
Feet are killing.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to triple up on some socks here.
So let's talk about socks for a second.
Yes, let's talk about this.
Why not? So what's with the LiveU socks? Our VP of marketing handed me some socks and said, here. And never told me what the LiveU socks are all about. So
I'll let her tell the story because she was the...
All right, so here's what happened. So we were doing our first mobile live stream with the LiveU Solo.
Okay.
And it was 30 degrees.
Okay.
We were outside. We wanted to really showcase the mobility of it by being outside, but also the professionalism of it. So we had our graphics computer, running graphics and all of this stuff. And it was like rainy and 30-degree weather. It was really, really cold. And so we were sitting there doing our stream, and the wind picked up, big time. It was against
of course, the mic.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
you can't hear anything.
Bad audio. Everybody was like, we can't hear you.
Can't hear anything. What is going on?
So, being in production, we have all these tricks and things that we've done. And so David said, I would pull off my sock if I had one, but he wasn't wearing socks.
Wait, it was 30 degrees and you weren't wearing socks?
I was not wearing, I was wearing slippers, basically. Not quite Crocs, but kind of the same thing.
And so then I reach down and I pull off my sock. And so I'm one sock, and so I pulled that and I put it on the mic as a wind muff, as a dead cat-ish kind of hack, right?
And it worked. It didn't smell very good, but it worked.
Hey now.
So now you told us, you tweeted us, told us that you guys had done this sock windscreen,
right.
And now we have LiveU Go Solo socks.
Which I am stealing a pair when I leave here.
All for you.
Yes.
In fact, we should just start shipping every solo unit with a pair of LiveU socks.
I agree.
And if you ever run into issues with your mic and the wind, you know what to do.
Amazing.
Put a sock on it.
Especially with the in real life stuff,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about what you guys were doing today, because obviously Alex was out and about walking around Las Vegas with a Solo and his backpack. Super cool. What did you guys do?
So I'm still processing this because we only contacted you guys about a week ago when we saw somebody else walking around another event with 2 cameras. And we're like, wait a minute, they're live, walking around an event with 2 cameras? Because we've always done shows like this at NAB, but we've never actually sit down and you're kind of stationary. But we've always gone out and done pre-recorded video on the floor. We would like to be able to take people out into the floor.
Right,
we wanted to be able to walk around and have people tell us, stop there.
That's probably why your feet hurt so much.
Talk to them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And so that's what we did. So you guys sent us two of the LU 500s and an LU 2000 server,
Yep.
which we have home in our studio in Washington State. And my brother switched the show. We had our Twitch graphics, our subscriber graphics, and everything coming up while we were walking the floor live with a steady 6.5 megabit per second signal, which is HD quality.
Yeah.
Back to Washington, and I was shocked.
So
Yeah.
that's actually what we're doing here today to some extent. I
right.
mean, obviously we're not walking around the floor.
Right.
But we actually have 5 LiveU units in the studio right now.
I saw the LU 600s up there.
Yeah, we got pan tilt zoom cameras, and you know, basically a digital audio board, and the
Yeah.
entire thing is being run out of Phoenix. Mike, are you out there? Can you wave for all of the folks here? So we've got
Wherever
Mike.
you are.
We've got Mike taking care of this for us back at home base today, which is just super cool because you know, can do the entire thing remotely. We have the talent here, we've got the producer here, and away we go.
And it's so amazing because, you know, as you're walking around, I'm an observer of people, and, you know, people are looking, they think that we're probably doing some recorded video, right? They have absolutely zero idea that we're interacting. And so when people actually, you know, come up to us and I'm doing an interview and then I'm reading the chat. And
So the chat does help you as well.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
I mean, they're asking, ask this question, this
Yeah.
question, and it helps us with the interviews.
Exactly. It's an incredibly interactive, full-on, professional live video experience, and I'm so excited that we were able to do it.
And how long have you guys been Twitch streamers?
Well, Twitch streamers only like 3 weeks, if
Yeah,
that,
just under 3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks, and
Yeah.
thus far, have you found it to be exciting and different?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
community is very accepting, and the thing is, like, what's cool is we had a bit of a following already, and with Facebook making changes, and YouTube is kind of like, I consider YouTube more of kind of a soapbox where you can post
Yeah.
videos, but you can't really like granularly have a conversation around the content because the comment section is a mess.
It's buried.
Yeah, it gets
Right.
buried, and I want to have conversations with people. We are trying to build a community of people that we're making content, they're commenting, and we're building relationships. And so Twitch chat is just so much more interactive, and people can, like something, and they can do an action like give a couple bits, and then something comes up on screen. So it's like, it's fun for them to interact. And with the emojis and stuff that they can send, so it just becomes a lot of fun, and that's what we're all about, is fun.
And I think looking backwards, because I started building a community, YouTube style, like 12 years ago, and doing
You've been
live
streaming
video.
for 12 years.
Yeah, and back then, it was really all about the community. And then as we progressed with our different platforms, and there's Facebook, and then YouTube became such a big thing, and all of these different platforms, like some of the platforms have lost the sense of community that is so freaking important for building an audience. And what we love about Twitch is that we're finding that passion again in such a big way.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And so 12 years ago, what was your first streaming device?
The first streaming device that I ever had was the Nokia N95. It was a phone that was the only option to do the first mobile streaming app. So everybody thinks that Facebook, is Periscope and all of that is the first ones. But this was called Quick, as QIK.
Okay.
And it was only available on that phone at first, and it was terrible. It was a terrible
and it's like-
experience because it wasn't ready. Like the
And you
connection.
couldn't even call it like SD quality.
No.
Well, in 12 years ago, 4G was just a
Right.
No,
a
I don't
dream,
even think we were talking about it.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah,
even,
it was basically like dial-up, but it was like the video just like.
like
Yeah.
four frames per second and it's an inch high. So
It's come such a long way.
Oh, yeah.
it has. So you guys are in the field very often streaming
Yeah.
with units that are tiny.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. Now, the first LiveU unit that I ever used for a live stream was at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And I was wearing the big backpack.
The LU70.
Yeah, and it was huge. And, we were walking for hours, and this thing was a big thing. And even then I was impressed. But now with these tiny little, you know, LU 500s and 600s, I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute.
Like, there's something on my back. Oh, it's
It
the
doesn't.
LU.
We don't even feel anything. Our backpack that we're carrying all of our batteries and our gear and our water bottles and all of this stuff is way, 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 way heavier than the LiveU Solo backpacks.
So what do you guys travel
not
with?
Not the LiveU Solo, but the LiveU backpack.
It's okay. So what do you guys travel with for gear outside of a streaming encoder? Obviously, we're one piece of the puzzle. We talked about the platform. Cameras, lights, microphones.
Actually,
so
could
we have
we-
our rig, Chris. We have one of the rigs that we have here. This is a Panasonic GH5, and
Well, watch it. Well,
I got it. There we go. So we got our monitor here, our mic pack, so
Look
for
at
a
this
wireless
thing.
mic.
It's got a rabbit tail.
Yeah, that's a windscreen because we carry windscreens now because we
Or
don't
or we
have.
could replace it
We've
with the
got all the windscreens you need.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I got boots on. I'm not pulling socks off today. So yeah. So this is one of the rigs, and then we've been carrying around Canon XA25s as well today. So yeah, this is the monster right here. This is where we get our sweet like slow-mo video that we do.
And would you plug this into the LU500, or do you use a different camera for that?
Yeah, we plug this right into the LU500, and
We
then
did.
audio passes right through here. And now today we didn't because we were having issues with it was like going black. It was flickering or something.
We had a connection issue of
Yeah,
some
so
sort,
we had.
but-
I don't know if it's a cable or what. So we swapped it out
It's
for
always a
another
cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we swapped it out for
Always
our
a
other
cable.
XA25. But tomorrow we're going to try to use it again. So
And this monopod is really cool.
yeah, this thing is a monster. This is by Liebeck. And this is like, I mean, like the stuff you can do to get in tight, you can pull
Well,
it
they
down.
can't
and-
see that, I
Oh.
don't think. Maybe.
Yeah. They can see it moving, but yeah, it's very versatile.
And,
And-
you can walk away. Like monopods, you don't usually walk away, especially a rig like this, right? But you can just walk
Sure.
away from it.
Sure, and obviously it's important to have a device like this if you're not going to make all of your audience motion sick.
Right.
Exactly.
As you're standing there.
That's very important.
Yes.
We don't want to make you guys motion sick.
Right.
That's
And I do want to mention something though. Like with the LU500s, I'm always a skeptic, and I was thinking, okay, I made the call. We're going to run 720 at 60. I didn't want to do full 1080 because I was skeptical. I was like, you know, we're using these cellular signals at NAB
Right.
in a conference center. I don't know if that's going to be good.
And if anybody doesn't know, the conference center is massively huge.
You've got thousands of people on the cellular networks
There's 110,000 people in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Now.
sucking down the cellular service.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. And we were steady at 6.5 megs. So the last day of streaming, we're pushing 1080, 60. We're going all in, and
Awesome.
and I'm confident it's going to handle it because we were steady the whole time. And that it takes once that happens to me, and I'm like, okay, this is real. Then I'm on board.
We've been pushing the better part of 25 megabits today just from this studio alone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's been, it's really just been rock solid.
Wow.
We're using the HEVC encoders here, so we can, do a lower bandwidth, same quality. But it's really amazing what we're able to do with.
For sure.
Yeah, that's why we want to touch the
cellular.
600s because they've got that capability. The 500s don't yet, right?
I'm going to bolt
Don't
those
touch.
down.
Don't touch.
I'm going to bolt
I'm
those
taking
down.
a pair of socks and I'm taking a 600. Who's coming with me? It's not like Jerry Maguire. Who's coming with me?
I never understand his references either.
That's all right.
It's okay.
You
So-
probably do.
Yeah. So one other person that we have in the booth with us today who I'd like to bring in and join with us is Ben Ratner. And Ben was out here with us at CES. Were you guys here for CES?
Not this
Nope.
year. Usually we are, but
So Ben was here for CES, and we did a studio setup like this at the Cosmopolitan. And not quite at home like we're doing, like we're doing today.
It was
Yeah.
a rented temporary home.
But yes, it was rent a temporary home.
It was a home where someone else changed the blankets and the towels and the sheets.
And so Ben was with us, and you did live streaming from here with the Solo during CES.
Solo worked like it's the busiest day of Vegas here ever, and I just had 2 cell phone cards running. I wasn't running any Wi-Fi into it or anything, and the thing worked like a charm.
And what was the biggest challenge for you working in an environment? Obviously, you were doing one-way streaming. You weren't interacting with the audience to the same degree as a Twitch streamer would. But what was that? What was the challenge like? What did you need in order to get through that?
Honestly, what we needed and we planned for this was just a very easy to use live streaming kit. It needed to be very lightweight. We couldn't lug a whole bunch of stuff around, and we had to kind of guess. We didn't know exactly what we were doing, but we had to guess the kind of stuff that we were doing. So we ended up taking a super simple rig. We just had a LiveU, a cable for the LiveU, a mic cable, and a camera, and that's it.
That's it.
And it just worked because there were so few things that could go wrong. And in this situation, the internet is the thing that's cameras work every time, no matter what. Microphones work every time, no matter what. And in general, the internet is the thing that you got to be wary of. But I got two cell phone cards in that thing, which is better than nothing going through that thing. So I was confident. We did some tests, make sure everything was fine, and the stream, I was a little like, there's so many people here. Are we going to be good? Is there good service? And it was fine. It was absolutely fine.
That's amazing. And so you didn't do this first person though. You had a camera operator with you.
I had a camera operator, but I could have lived without a camera operator. I could have had it on a tripod.
But I saw a video of you skiing, like in a virtual skiing machine.
Okay, yes, I would have needed either a really ridiculous selfie stick or a camera operator.
Like Will Smith, you see Will Smith's
yeah, the thing you
went around his waist.
Yeah. That's called excessive.
So Ben, tell me a little bit about some of the other live streams that you've done. Obviously working with LiveU here now at CES this year. What else have you done, and what hurdles have you had to jump over with the technology?
So I'll talk about two examples in the past year that were LiveU specific, and then I'll talk about just some general live streaming.
Sure.
But when I say LiveU specific, I mean events that I could not have done if I did not have bonded cellular internet. The first one is I worked for IRL Productions at the time. We did a show called Girl Starter on TLC. It's like a woman's entrepreneurial, young, kind of like a Shark Tank for young millennial women. And we were sent out to a field in Georgia where we had to do a live stream as a part of. They did a whole tour around the country, and literally no Wi-Fi, no internet, barely even cell phone service. But when we were able to add up the two cell phone cards, we got just a strong enough stream. And it was the only way we could have done this thing. We had sponsors on the line, we had content on the line, and without bonded cellular internet in my LiveU Solo, I would not have been able to do that shoot.
And
so,
Luria and David, I'm sure you guys have had a couple of stories like that where you've been in the sticks.
Yeah.
In the middle.
You went through on a road trip to Utah.
Yeah, we were in Utah up in the mountains, and we did a stream with the LiveU Solo. It was perfectly clear. We were showing people the sunset. All over the mountains. I mean, it was crazy. Now, we couldn't get, we tried to go into
and we have some
Park.
video of that here, by the way.
Oh, yeah, here we go. So we went to a place called Mount Zion Zion National Park. I always say Mount. I don't know why. There's no Mount in it. But anyway.
If you say it on the internet,
somewhere.
that's the new official name.
Yeah, it's the new official name, Mount Zion. And we had zero service for anything in there because we were seeing deer and everything, so we had to come back in. But yeah, we did some really cool. That's with the drone. We obviously didn't tie the Solo to a drone. Yet.
You can get service down from drones. Like some of I believe the DJI products, you can get an SDI signal out of those. And there are news networks that are doing that.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
I need to know about this.
Uh-oh. Geek out time is about to happen.
Although I
if
kind
you
of like
do-
the idea of just seeing a solo.
Just hanging it from it.
Yeah,
It's
well, if you don't mind
my
your
little
Solo
spark would be
falling.
going.
I don't think the sport could lift the
Probably
Solo.
No,
not.
my air probably.
It's only a
couldn't either.
pound.
Yeah.
It's only a pound. But so what was it like being in Utah and in the fields? You're just streaming.
We were just updating because we'd it's really cool to bring your audience along when you're doing things, and we were doing behind the scenes stuff for our Geeks Life show, just movie reviews. We did the Star Wars Last Jedi movie review out there in the desert, which makes sense because it's like Tatooine, right? And so,
Right.
And so we just brought people in live, and we're asking them questions and asking them what they thought about the movie and all that stuff, and it's just taking them on a journey to a place they normally wouldn't go live.
It gives them a chance to escape for a moment in time, right? Let's say they're watching from their office where they're stuck in their office, or they're in home. People are in a routine, people are in a habit, and giving them the opportunity to come out of that for just 5 minutes, just an hour, whatever it is a really powerful opportunity.
And wouldn't it have been a real pain to get a satellite truck out there?
Oh, man.
Yeah, seriously, right?
It really would have. And the cost, I mean, that's what I was talking about with somebody the other day. If you look back at the barrier of entry has come way down. You know, I mean, you're under $1,000 now.
Yeah.
Where it would have been tens of thousands of dollars even just 5-10 years ago.
It would have been that in gas to get the damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. You would have had to pay a union guy, I don't know how much, just to raise the antenna.
David actually was outside, in the outside where all the satellite trucks are, and he was like taking pictures of them, like, haha.
I want to talk to those guys, but like, are you guys scared?
So Ben, have you had any experience with the barrier to entry being lower? Has that increased your ability to stream?
It's
Has that
made
changed?
me lots of money. No, but seriously, though, there are gigs that I would never have taken if I had to deal with internet.
Such
from
as the one in
certain
the
buildings.
fields.
Well, the field is one thing. That's great. But I'm talking about, like, I've done events in schools where I don't know if you've ever dealt with a school's IT department.
Oh.
And with all due respect to the school's IT departments that I deal with, they don't even know what they're dealing with, especially when it comes to video bandwidth, opening up the IP port, the ports and everything. It's impossible in a lot of these places. And if I could just walk in with my own internet, it enables. It's just an enabler. I don't need to do maybe I'll go there and see if the service is good there, but I don't need to like deal with them.
Yeah.
And one trick for you is if you haven't heard of OpenSignal, OpenSignal.com has cellular coverage maps, and so you can actually look and see real world reports. It's not a guarantee, but it'll give you a pretty good idea if you're actually going to get service in Mount Zion National Forest.
Well, and you know what really shocks me is like how, you would think in this country we could go to a hotel and we could get enough internet that we could at least upload a video, right?
No.
It does not happen. So that's a huge use case for the LiveU Solo for us, because we travel and we go to Airbnbs and stuff, and we're always dealing with bad internet. But we were able to actually do our show, because we have the LiveU. And
I've also used it for retransmission. I know it's what a lot of people with the 500 and 600 units do, but I'll record something and then refeed it through my LiveU Solo, and then get that, because it'll take faster for me to upload and download a high def file that way than actually going through my local internet.
I never thought about that. Man, we need to hang out.
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight?
Sleeping.
So these are all tools for the toolkit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Do you guys have any other tips that you want to throw out there in terms of just live streaming in general, and what equipment that you might want to select or bring with you? If somebody's trying to get started, what advice would you give them?
The main advice I always give is use what you got. If this is all you got, use this.
Right.
Just get started.
Because-
and then work your way to what you see other people doing.
Yeah. Like all this stuff is fancy and then cool and all of that, and it's a little intimidating for people, but live video is intimidating in general, and so if you just get started with that, you actually learn a lot just by doing that, and then you can like really take it to the next level with gear like this.
And so Ben, when you went from, I'm assuming you started cell phones.
My middle school had a TV station, and that
You started
is kind
big
of
time.
it started back then. But
You started at like 4 years old.
I'm 25. I'm not that old, but I'm older than before cell phones, had cameras. So I grew with cell phone cameras and appreciate their ability to stream. But for me, the big enabler was when Facebook and Periscope and YouTube opened up streaming through RTMP, or APIs that let you stream from other devices. My area of expertise is multi-camera production. I've been able to transition that to live. I did live production before, but live social production. So for me, it's, first of all of that has come down in price and gotten so much easier over the years. Like, I'm a big TriCaster fan, a big Blackmagic fan. Blackmagic makes this thing. They announced it last year at NAB. It's the I believe the 810 Studio HD.
Yeah.
It's basically 2/3 of a rack unit. It weighs like nothing, and it's got all the inputs on the front. You can plug it into a computer, but it's a full switcher, yay big. And for me, for that, like if you look at our setup here, all of these cameras, if you were to not take care of them and just throw them into a backpack with no padding, you could literally do like a multi-camera production in the middle of nowhere or here. Like when we did our shoot up in CES, we could have had that entire production in 1 or 2 FedEx boxes.
Yeah.
And just the size and efficiency of all of this has come down so much. It just excites me that it enables people who couldn't have done this before to just do it.
Well, and that's what. Speaking of what you just said, we used to take when we do big events for AT&T.
Oh my gosh,
We would
yes.
take a trailer full of stuff, trussing and all this stuff, and now we're to where we can fit it in the trunk of our Prius.
You need like
Yeah.
a Tonka truck trailer now.
And when you
fits in our
show up,
Prius.
do they look at you and they're like, "This is it"?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it
they
almost
do.
makes you
They're
feel
like-
like, is this going to be as professional? And then it's
They
like,
get worried.
yeah, they do, but it actually looks better. You know?
They're always sold at the end, but there's a perception issue because bigger means better in the traditional sense, and now that's not true.
So I have done shoots before. Bigger is not always better, but I've done shoots before with my TriCaster Mini. But then, like, the client wanted to look really legit.
yeah.
And I was like, give me a couple extra $100, I'll get you some big looking cameras, but it's still going to do the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why you just bring a really big Surface switcher and sit it there with the lights on,
Everybody's like, ooh.
but you just don't use it.
Yeah.
It's just wall candy.
Yeah, it's wall candy.
So what cameras would you guys recommend? I know you got a DSLR here. That's obviously, that can be a big investment just in glass lenses alone. What cameras would you suggest starting with? I mean, GoPro, or starting small, or
Yeah, and that's why we suggest you like start with your phone, but like when you move yourself up, we love the PTZ optics. Like that's one of our go-to cameras because
and for those watching, the PTZ optics cameras are actually the cameras that we're using right now.
yeah.
That's
So
why David's referencing.
I always tell people if you
camera.
have they have what's called a Z-Cam, which is about a $799 SDI camera.
Yep.
So you get one of those, and you get a PTZ optics camera, and you basically have 1,000 cameras because you can go to your main PTZ, the box cam. You can move your PTZ to be on you. Go back, it looks like that's a camera shot. Go back to the box cam. Go to you, it looks like that's another camera. So and it's really not. You're talking $16.99 for a PTZ optics and $7.99 for box cam. You're in under $3,000, and where most of the times, like broadcast cameras, are you kidding me?
They're
Like
very
$4,000 to get started.
And especially if like Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or Twitch, if that's your final medium, no one's going to know the difference.
No.
I mean, the difference in camera quality, I don't think I've ever spent more than, I'm going to say $2,000, and that's high, on just a camcorder for live streaming. Any more than that, you could spend more, and maybe you get slightly better optics, but it's just not necessary.
Right.
And you could obviously do better. You can get nicer PTZs. PTZ optics also has higher levels, and there's other ones available. But you don't need to spend a whole lot of money on these cameras. When I'm dealing with cameras for streaming, though, there's a couple things that I think about regardless of the camera. I want to have XLR mic inputs. The little mini mic inputs aren't always enough.
Right.
And not with the camera specifically, but lighting. Any camera can look amazing if you have good enough lighting.
or enough light,
Or enough light.
Right.
Yeah.
as the case may
Yes.
be.
And some cameras, that the new Sonys that's coming out, you don't even really need much light.
Lighting be damned. But even with cell phones, it's the same principles. I mean, you can get a microphone that you can plug into cameras. You can even plug full mixers into cameras. I've had clients that didn't want to do anything but just wanted an audio feed from like an event, but wanted to have their cell phone on a camera streaming. I'm like, fine, we'll just take a feed and get like an iRig or something that has an XLR input, $20-$30, and you have perfect audio.
Yeah.
And a lot of these streams, even higher end streams, are just a single static shot if they just want the most basic possible thing. And you cannot always tell the difference between a cell phone and that. So
Yeah.
technology's cool, man.
Go tech. So you mentioned lighting, and obviously some of the new image chipsets that are out there do an unbelievable job of light reproduction with very little light actually being there. What do you guys travel with for lights? I mean, I saw your little light on top.
Chris,
Chris, toss me that light.
we're all
The light.
The light.
You got to see this light. So that's the thing. Like I keep talking about tech. The lights are getting brighter and smaller.
Yeah. And so, Joyce. I mean, sorry, Claudia.
We're
is
trying
like,
to get the light on
Yeah.
the set, but
Okay.
There we go.
Don't steal our prop.
So look at this. This is just
Oh my
a little.
goodness.
Is there a children's choking warning on that?
I know, right?
That's full bright.
that's amazing.
I mean, look at that.
And that's an LED,
Yeah.
and it has a couple of different levels. Now that I can't see anything,
I know, right?
Like picture day.
Yeah, that is. I've been staring at lights for 12 years, and that thing hurts my eyes.
And how long does that run?
It'll go a long time.
And
And it's magnetic, so you can magnetize it on something.
That-
It probably would stick to the wall behind you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
Crazy,
amazing.
isn't it?
So when we were out shooting and you just need a little bit of light,
Do you
just
know how much
kick
that
thing
is?
on. Hey, Chris. Yeah, he's busy.
He's off
I think it's like
being out.
40,
They're showing off all the
50
gear
bucks,
here.
I believe.
We got a whole bunch of gear heads
It's no
in
more
the,
than like
in the
50,
aisle
60
here at
bucks.
NAB. That's
much?
amazing.
Yeah.
80
bucks. Okay, I was
$80.
wrong.
No, it's less than 100.
But the aperture one is actually cheaper.
That's amazing.
yeah.
And so you don't need these giant light panels anymore.
No, I mean, we carry, outside of that, we carry like a little Godox light. It's like an off-brand, but like GODOX. They have multiple sizes, and we love those because they're dimmable, they last long, they're durable.
And it definitely depends on the use case. If you're
Yeah.
like for our run and gun, we like these. But if
Right,
we're in a
right.
studio environment, we
Obviously
definitely do
you
like
need more.
box
Do you guys get the
lights or
giant 1Ks?
the bigger.
the big scoops.
Yeah, we have like Manfrotto one by ones. Yeah.
Something I suggest, I deal with a lot of people just doing Skype interviews. I do a lot of podcasting where you want to have remote guests, and it's for people who aren't video people and just have Skype or
Yes.
whatever. I literally tell them, take a desk lamp, just put it right above your little webcam on your thing,
Yeah.
and maybe have lights on the background, maybe not, but you'll get still a nice, a
Yeah.
really well-lit person. Maybe throw a paper towel over it to dim it
Yeah.
up a little.
Especially the Logitech C920 and
Yeah.
those cameras. I mean, they do lighting really well for people that don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You and
Yeah.
I, we're kind of like, nah. But
But
Yeah.
like ring lights are becoming more popular as well.
Not for me.
But not for, and that's the thing that people don't realize.
It's a
is that
preference
if you
thing.
if you wear glasses, you
Oh, you
can't
get
use
that.
a ring light.
so I have to. So whenever I'm lighting somebody, I have to think skin tone, glasses or not. So I have different lighting that I do based on the person.
Yeah.
So because I can't light myself like head on, I have to put it up and coming down
Right.
a bit. So yeah.
Do you bring lighting tripods along sometimes so that you can actually,
Depends
No,
on
he
the
holds
use
it up
case.
like this.
That's what I was doing
that.
that. We were at I forgot the name of the restaurant today, streaming with our Twitch IRLer from before, and I forgot to pack a thing to attach the light to the camera, so I was holding it above the camera. It's
gotta do what you gotta
it's my
do.
exercise for the week.
And it's
There you
amazing
go.
that how tired your arm can get actually holding something this small
Yep.
for a long time.
you don't realize that this is a weird position to stand in for an extended duration.
So I'm normally just chilling like this.
So, we've got a couple more minutes here. Let's talk about the most important part of video, the audio.
Yes.
So we started with socks and windscreens. What do you guys have in terms of just in your kits that you could not live without that make the audio perfect?
So for me, it's the Audio Technica System 10s. We have handhelds and lapels. And then also, these right
Luria
here.
even has one. So, okay.
We carry it in our pocket just for an occasion like this.
Just in case anybody
So
asks.
these System 10s, in an environment like this, so there were certain brands I won't name that we would get drops. So every once in a while, you'd be out in this environment, you'd get a drop of audio.
Because this is an
sure you
incredibly
would.
challenging
Yeah.
RF environment.
Sure we would. It seemed like it. But these, we've had no issues with. So
That's awesome. And,
Yeah.
and is this an omnidirectional microphone on here?
yes. And then we also really like the Audio Technica shotguns in the studio. So.
And
For me, I do a lot of just kind of stand-up reporting and, again, podcasty like things. To me, this microphone, the SM58, is like the bread and butter of the media industry. It might not be the prettiest thing if you're just like one person talking, but if you need perfect, good sound anywhere, incredibly durable, this is what I like to use, and especially in
you know they
environment-
modeled it after a hammer. You can literally drive nails with the SM58.
Really?
No.
I was like, wait,
But you
what?
can try.
You could try.
You could
You
try
could try.
it.
It
It'd be
might
fun
work.
trying, I got to admit.
I am so gullible.
But at conventions like that, I mean, those are great mics. To me, sound is the most important part of video, as you
For
said.
sure.
And at a convention like this, you can get nice and close with these. It really cuts a lot of the extra sound, maybe even throw a windscreen on top. The SM58 is kind of my go-to mic.
And then do you do like a wireless,
I
the
do wireless.
Sennheisers or something?
I'm afraid of using wireless at conventions like this because, especially at a broadcast convention, everyone's using wireless.
Right.
And I always was too till the System 10s. Like I
These
never
we've
would trust
never had
wireless.
trouble with.
But
Yeah.
like now I don't like wires because there's so many people walking around and you got to like stay
I
right
like
tight.
my wired
Oh, I
microphone.
like to use it to hurt people.
Yeah.
We don't actually
Now
like to
it
hurt
comes
people on the
out.
It's
show.
like, oh, you're going to walk in front of my camera? No, you're not.
Of course, having a wire mic with you in your toolkit is always useful.
But
And
I'll tell you,
there
what,
are-
I do like Sennheiser and Shure, and I'm sure other companies do. They make, there's probably a name for it. I call it a butt, but it's literally just an XLR wireless adapter.
Yep.
Yes.
I think that might be what you mentioned.
Yeah.
And then that could work with any mic at all whatsoever. So just the versatility there is really great. I use that a lot of times at like conventions at New York Comic Con this year. with the podcast I work for, Star Talk Radio, we were streaming with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Adam Savage, and we could not get a sound feed to the camera because the camera was in the middle of the room. So I just ran one of those wireless things from the feed that they were going to give me and ran that right to my camera. So it's even good for use cases where you would normally want to use a wire.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope you all had fun. I hope
Yes.
you had, I hope your feet feel better.
They do now from sitting for a while.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
only
that
going to
does
wear
help.
those socks tomorrow, nothing else.
Nothing else.
Whoa. I'll join you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've Ben Ratner, Luria, and David. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
you.
And thank you guys for joining us. From all of us here at the LiveU team at NAB 2018, I'd like to thank you for joining us here on Facebook Live for a little stream. We'll be back tomorrow night at 5 o'clock.
Pacific.
Pacific, 5 o'clock Pacific, so be sure to join us. Thank you and good night.